Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number one, my favorite album from 2005. Albums that are 20 years old in 2025. We've been doing it all this first half of the month, right? Counting down our 15 favorite albums released 20 years ago in 2005. Really good year for music. A lot of really, really great albums from this particular year. It's been fun kind of going through these again. And as I've said, it's been fun like picking through the list of albums and seeing how different it was from what I thought were my favorite albums of the year back in 2005, right? Which you can go see any of those yearly lists on our webzine at seatranquility.org. And if you want to go compare what my 15 were here with what my top 15 were 20 years ago, it's quite different, actually. So today, for pick number one, my favorite album from 2005, this is the 8th studio album by this Swedish band, released August 29th, 2005, recorded at Fascination Street Studios in Örebro, Sweden. They probably pronounce that differently, but I'm an American. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Produced by Jens Bogren and the band for Roadrunner Records. I'm talking about Ghost Reveries by Opeth. Yes, I know. Slightly different cover, right? This is the deluxe edition, a 2-disc set which came out. I haven't got how many times I've bought some of these Opeth albums, but the original album cover is that one right there. Okay, which I think is ultimately a little bit cooler than just that. Well, this has this kind of like old book look to it, I guess. But yeah, I always hate when they do these deluxe reissues and then they give you a totally different cover than what the original release had. Keep it consistent, people. For some of us who care about stuff like that. I know lots of people who don't. I'm like that as well. It's the same thing with like all these Rush reissues that they've done in recent years, which are all spectacular. They all have great bonus stuff, live shows and things, but then they completely change the covers on them. I don't get that. So anyway, this album represents kind of like the beginning of a little changing of the guard for the band. So this is the first album with keyboard player Per Wiberg. All right, comes over into the band. It's the last album to include longtime drummer Martin Lopez, and the last album to include longtime co-guitar player Peter Lindgren. So this would be kind of like a this is like one of those transition albums, right? So, of course, Mikael Ackerfeldt on lead and backing vocals, lead and rhythm guitars, acoustic guitar, mellotron, Peter Lindgren lead guitar, Martin Mendez, the great Martin Mendez on bass, Per Wiberg, Hammond organ, mellotron, grand piano, Moog synthesizer, and Martin Lopez, excuse me, drums and percussion. Early in the morning, man. You, it's allergy season. I just had this whole conversation with my mother last night. Her allergies are killing her right now. She goes, they're saying the pollen is everywhere. I'm like, oh, I can see it. Trees just started budding. I see stuff all over the place. I know it's coming on. It's coming. All right, so this album, to me, this is one of those albums in the Opeth catalog that has really gotten even better with age. It is, like I mentioned, the beginning of a transitionary period for the band, but I think it's when all is said and done, years from now when Opeth have, called it quits and retired and we look back on their music with lots of fondness, I think Ghost Reveries is going to be one of those albums that's going to be like near the top of most people's lists of best Opeth albums. I loved it when it came out. I like it more as time goes on. And I find like of the earlier part of the catalog, this is the one that I reach for quite a lot. Because again, it gives you, as a lot of these Opeth albums do around this time period, Blackwater Park and, Watershed and certainly, Deliverance and Damnation. These albums, they feature so much of what we love about Opeth, but like bridge the gap to the more non-death metal, total prog rock, hard rock Opeth that have been in more recent years, right? Of course, their latest album, again, returns to some of their death metal roots, but it still contains a lot of the elements that are prevalent on here. So again, lots of keyboards, lots of Hammond organ and mellotron on this album. You got crushing death metal on here as well. You got complex progressive metal, but also that light and delicate folky prog thing that they do so well. Clean, melodic vocals, death metal growls. You got a little bit of everything. So Ghost of Perdition starts off the album, it's 10.5 minutes long. Ghost of Perdition, just a juggernaut of a track. Just a juggernaut of a track. And I remember the first time I heard Ghost of Perdition, I was just kind of like, holy cow, man, listen to that. Right? Takes you back to some of the heavy stuff on Deliverance, but it's still quite proggy, right? I love the Hammond and the Mellotron. The Baying of the Hounds is kind of like Uriah Heep or Deep Purple gone sort of progressive death metal, right? Just so good, man. Those keys, the Hammond organ just completely drives. Beneath the Mire is completely amazing, right? Beneath the Mire that's how you kind of incorporate death metal growls into a wonderful melodic progressive metal arrangement. Just so good. I mean, there's just great melodies in there, great keys. Love the clean vocals. Atonement is much, much more of a straight kind of folky prog track. Very melodic, lovely little tune. Then you got Reverie, Harlequin Forest, which again, great progressive metal with extreme metal elements. Just so good. Again, that's nearly 12 minutes long. Hours of Wealth, another cool proggy track. Then you get probably the heaviest song on the album, The Grand Conjuration. That's just a total blitzkrieg of progressive death metal. Absolutely amazing. And then Isolation Years finishes it all off. And if you get the the deluxe, you get their cover of Deep Purple, Soldier of Fortune, which is wonderful, and you get the documentary and all that stuff. That's, of course, I had to get it for that, right? But yeah, the album on its own is about 67 minutes long, and it's a really, really great one. Really, really great one. And the album I was thinking of before, I just couldn't think of the title, is Still Life. Another one of those really great, kind of very dense, progressive albums that have all the elements that make the early part of the catalog so good. But yeah, this is a killer album. And with Watershed, the next album, there would be even less death metal on that album, and that would be the last album for quite a number of years, where they just went to all clean vocals, all mix of prog and hard rock and folk, kind of that whole thing that Opeth was doing for quite a number of years. So, but yeah, this is one of my favorite Opeth albums. It's so good, and it was an easy pick for number one from 2005 here. So let's take a look at charts and things like that. We've got Australia, number 35, Dutch charts, number 38, Finland, number 10, French charts, 72, Germany, 35, Italy, number 52. See, Sal? The Italians love Opeth. Norway, 21, Polish charts, 39, Scotland, Scottish charts, number 63, Sweden, number 9, UK album charts, number 62, and the US Billboard 200, number 64. Not too shabby, not too shabby. I'm sure no singles released. Oh, The Grand Conjuration was released as a single July 26th. Go figure. The least single-oriented song on the album. I give them credit for that, right? So, yeah, that's my pick for today. Ghost Reveries by Opeth. Let us know what you think of this down in the comments below, as well as list your pick for today. Your final pick number 1, and we'll see you tomorrow for pick number 15 from 2015. We start all over again. We go 10 years out, right? Albums that are 10 years old in 2025, so we'll see you then. This is on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, all together. All the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options, all down below. Thanks in advance for all your support. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. What do we got coming up on the channel? We've got, make sure if you haven't seen them, right, because so far not a lot of people have watched them, so I know everybody was asking for when you're going to continue on with those 10 essential albums for a newbie series. Well, we just did the Jazz Fusion the other day. We just did last night the Doom Metal one, so please go watch those if you haven't already. Fun stuff. Again, remember, these are 10 first albums for someone brand new to a specific genre. Going with mostly classics on these, because that's just the way. It's just the way I roll. That's the way you got to do it, right? It's like if I'm gonna send someone off to listen to doom metal, they've never listened to doom metal before, or maybe even not a big metal fan, right? I'm going to give them the 10 classics of the genre, right? I'm not going to give them something from 2017 that's half death metal, half doom, because it's just, that's got to this whole discussion with someone this morning who were like, said that I understand you want to do the classics, but all this stuff sounds dated. You should give someone doom stuff from like the last 5 or 10 years, and all the picks that he had were just like, they were doom albums, but like with so many extreme tendencies, death metal and black metal elements. And I'm like, if someone's like new to doom metal and they're really maybe even not a huge metal fan in general, why in the world would I send them that way? All right, just doesn't make sense. I get it, that's what you like, but you got to give them with the classics, right? You got to hit them up with Sabbath and Candlemass and Saint Vitus and Trouble. It's what you got to do. That's where a person has to go first, right? So it's like, and then you move into all that stuff, right? That's the mentality here, folks. Take yourself out of your personal bias and look at it as like, people who just have no exposure to this type of music at all. Where do you go first? That's the way I look at it. That's the way I'm doing this show. If you don't like that, well, what can I tell you? Anyway, so we've got, go check those out. We've got, hopefully should have some more new reviews for you throughout the week. We've got UK Connection coming up later this week as well. All right, we're going to go back to 2013 and look at what we picked as our favorite albums in 2013 on the webzine and say, hey, what did we think of that list today in 2025? Yeah, very cool way to look at things, right? Especially with Simon and Steven. We always enjoy doing these episodes because a lot of times I look at my list from, all those years ago and I'm kind of like, yeah, that wouldn't be my favorite 10 from that year today, which is kind of what I've been doing all month long in this series, right? And also, speaking of Steven, he and I will be ranking the albums of Tremonti on Sunday, so that's coming up. Mark Tremonti, of course, from Alter Bridge and Creed. Tremonti is his kind of like solo band, pretty heavy stuff. He's got 6 albums. We're going to talk about those and rank them on Sunday. So till then, I think I said the whole rest of the stuff. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.